Joni Simmons. I'm a recently retired professor from Springfield College for occupational therapy. So that was my area, still is. I actually have been doing home evaluations, recommending modifications for a grant in the Springfield area. That's one of my favorite areas of OT. I've always been working with older adults, and my other area that I really love is working with or teaching about working with people with dementia. So those are my two areas that I really like. And safe homes help people also with cognitive skills be more safe. So a little funny story about my voice. It's not usually like this. I had my 70th birthday what's today?
Wednesday.
29.
Thank you. Last Wednesday was my 70th birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. I'm on the phone with someone from the bank, and they always ask your birth date, right? And so she went on to the next question. I said, aren't you supposed to say something like happy birthday? Usually they pick it up.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, I'm sorry, happy birthday. And then I said, and it's my 70th. And she said, oh, your voice sounds so young. The next day, this is what I woke up with. So I know. So I do have a doc's appointment tomorrow because I always, I freak out, something's eating my vocal cords or whatever. So anyway.
What do you usually sound like?
a lot younger than this.
Oh, okay.
What was I going to say? So if my voice, if you can't hear well enough, let me know. I can use a microphone, okay? And are you okay with me sitting down? Mm-hmm. Good. It's just more comfortable. It's not like I can't walk around, and I probably might anyway. All right, so Talia and I are very happy. We did our first AirPlay setup. I've never done it before from a laptop, and she's never done it, and no problems here. So the presentation is to help you just think about some ways that you can make your house safer, your aunt's house safer, a parent's house safer, anyone's house safer. I always like to think, too, that it's a good possibility to give you some ideas of Christmas presents and birthday presents. One of you is just saying, oh, looking at a gadget. I put up this part of the title is falling off. But anyway, not that this really isn't part of the presentation, but I have it. I've done falls prevention as well. And then this catalog, if I gave it to some of you, you can pass it around. It's a wonderful catalog. They don't publish it anymore, but you can order those things online. And then, there's big box stores as well. I am not to push any one company at all. But anyway, so this handout, there's a place, the second page, you can take notes if you want. I suppose what we could have done is just handed you the first page and saved the paper. But anyway, it shows, this is how it's kind of organized. So as I go through with some ideas, and I also find that AARP they now are giving some cost-effective ideas as well as big bank ideas. I've added lots of cost-effective ideas because when I was a therapist and the grants I work for, they don't have a lot of money, so I think it's a good idea to show you some very also inexpensive things to do. I also have this whole list, if there's time at the end, a bunch of pictures I could show too. But anyway, let's get started with this. So you should be able to help recognize some key modifications, do-it-yourself fixes, and plan for some more expensive modifications. If you're going to renovate your kitchen or your bathroom anyway, then it's good to have this in mind. Even the smallest of changes, as you well know, can make a difference. I mean, night lights are just absolutely wonderful. So, The objective for this, or one of the objectives, is to help you stay in your home or to help someone else stay in their home, because it is certainly more cost effective to make some of these changes. And some of these are, okay, staying in your home with home health aides, adult daycare. Once you're moving out, your assisted living facilities is about $7,000 a month. Nursing home semi-private is that. Nursing home private is much more expensive. So you want to try to keep yourself in your home or somebody else in their home. And this is your Homefit handout, so you don't need that one. And this is on, if you go to AARP, this is a nice guideline. So it's a little, it would be a little booklet. They don't publish that to hand out, but it's there. And I think they said it's 36 pages, so that will keep you busy. They try to show the inexpensive ideas and the expensive ideas. Quick fixes are always good to know about. Some of your smoke detectors, CO2 detectors keep you safe. They are not expensive. Many fire departments, Tanya, well, you may all know that. Does your fire department replace smoke detectors and CO2? Okay. So many fire departments will do that. They do that on a grant oftentimes, so it's something maybe somebody...
My daughter belongs to the fire department, so she made sure my house has got all those things.
She did. Well, you tell her to write for a grant to help all your friends. Yeah, we're always in Springfield. That's where I've been doing my home evals, and I'm always checking for that and telling them just call the fire department. They'll be here. You want fire extinguishers, your water heaters. You don't want them to be too hot. And here's some. The rug on the left, top left, is not safe at all. I had a sister-in-law. I saw her rug in front of her sink. I told her it wasn't safe. What happens? Not even a month later, she fell on that rug. I was like, oh, I told you. These mats, the black one, they are so available now. They're so safe and they're soft. The stool is great on the top middle because it folds up, it hides away. The one on the right is really the one you want to see, and you'll see that same stool or a picture of that in many places. We're going to start with the exterior. Certainly what is the best is a 0-degree entry. That's a smooth entry, great for carts, wheelchairs, walkers, anyone. And then having an overhang to protect you is wonderful. I don't have the overhang at my house, and it's really a pain, but whatever. And this is also showing the same thing. This also shows somewhat something you'll see later, but the flower pot is in it. It is a really good idea to have some sort of chair or bench outside if you just walk from the car. Again, you all look quite healthy. You're going to look at this stuff and say, I don't need this, but you probably have some friends, and you could recommend, let's put that flower pot on the ground. It's just as pretty, and leave the chair for you in case you're tired. That kind of a thing. So, I mean, that's a free one. These are walker steps, so these are wide steps so that a walker can go on them. It's great. If you're having to put in a new porch and you have steps and you have room, then walker steps are a good way to go. Is this a good way to put this? Okay, yes. See how the top step is right up against the door too? That becomes the top step is a 0-degree entry. When my husband and I had our porch rebuilt, we wanted it a little bigger. And we had a step up and into the kitchen. So when the carpenter came, I said, bring it right up to the top. So now if I have to ramp up to that porch, once I get to the porch, I've got a regular roll-in. So that's the kind of thing, if you're having something redone, think about the future. Of course, we moved from that house that I made very wheelchair accessible, even out onto the deck. Yeah, now we live where it's 2 steps from the kitchen down to the living room. But it's a peaceful house. At the entrance, again, we're starting with entrances. There's the one on the left is a permanent ramp. It needs to go up. If you're going to use a wheelchair or a walker on it, you want the rise. Does anybody know this? Every 1 inch up is
2%.
I don't know the percent. 1 inch up is 12 inches across. So it's 1 to 12. So if you have 7 inches to go up, you're starting to get a long ramp. So sometimes some of your front doors or porches are not rampable. A temporary ramp, and sometimes temporary ramps are not built to that nice, gentle incline. But that's okay because maybe somebody's pushing them. And that's, someone pushing can push more than 1 to 12. But someone propelling themselves 1 to 12 is what you want. And a threshold ramp is just something that's relatively short, but safe, and it's that nice hard rubber. Platform lifts for limited space, and you've got a high height to go, so this lift is great. This has to have been taken like in Hawaii or someplace where it doesn't rain. There is no cover on this. This would not be good for New England. Again, this is AARP, and sometimes they forget about some of the practical things. Okay, I love these. I thought I could sit down. I love these swing clear hinges. So what it does is, see how when the door is open, you don't lose any space. Usually if you open a door, the door goes here, and now you've lost that space. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that swing clear often will allow a walker to get into the bathroom. Our bathroom widths are usually pretty narrow. So I thought I was pretty cool, and I got some swing hinges so that my mother-in-law, when she visited us, could go into our bathroom. But when we opened that door, the bathtub is there. So it didn't work. So, I was not being practical, but thoughtful, I guess. These are just some things. These are all good ideas. The top right, that's easier, to lock, that kind of a thing, rather than the bottom right. The doorknob, middle bottom is harder. The flip handle is easier, and peepholes are always nice. There's also, people can use their cell phones to see who's out the door now, too, and open your garage door for the box store that's delivering. You see the single dollar sign there. Some other kinds of things I already mentioned about the bench, and just motion-sensitive light bulbs, putting them outside at any place outside is a good thing to do. And you can get them at your box stores as well. Coming inside, you've got things in your arms. It's good to have another place to sit, some place to put things. I mean, that's just showing you kind of an organized entry. If you saw where our entry is now, you would know I can't do anything like that. So not everything is going to work. So any ideas that you might have to improve an entryway? No? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on. So now we're in the entrance, we're in the house, and the favorite place is always the kitchen. Those kind of handles, they're easy to get your hand under to pull out, as opposed to doing a pinch kind of thing. What that draw also reminds me of is if somebody has a hard time holding a bowl to mix, you can save your top drawer and put your bowl there if it's tall enough, and lean against, if you're one-handed, lean against the drawer, and now you've got the bowl nice and solid while you mix. It's also good to have your pans that they can be there instead of, it's sometimes they're hard to get, so a pull-out drawers or pull-out shelves are always good. And the lever touch or sensor faucets are also good. This kind of a thing, double money, because yes, this is of course a little more expensive. You can also consider just putting if you need more shelf space, you can put that breadboard over the sink. That works, and then you just move it slightly and push things into the sink. And then I know my next slide shows you a cheaper solution for a lower shelf, and that's only if you have enough space. Now I kind of like this because it shows this person has a small kitchen, but they're still using that space that doesn't really get too much in the way. Now someone can slide things off of the counter right onto the eating space. That's also a good place to chop vegetables if somebody has to sit down. You can also use stools. I have a picture of that later. And you see where that microwave is? That's a safe place. And I did on the other house where I made very accessible and safe, I moved down our microwave. Our microwave right now is good too. Pull down cabinet shelving. That ranges from, hold on, I think I've got the price over here. What did I say? I think that's like $200 to $600 for these kind of pull down shelves, but they are absolutely, oh, it's right there. I wrote it there, $250 to $600 plus installation. And if you think that word conclusion means I'm done, it doesn't. I couldn't get it off. I don't know why it's there. I'm not done. So arranging things, and some of these are just real common sense. My mother would say, stop it, they all know this. Arranging things so that they're within height of your shoulders and your knees is the safest area. Or just reaching up slightly above your shoulders. So things that you don't need often can go high. Adding little shelves like this in the corner to allow you to take things off the shelf and put them down on the countertop is good. Anything, especially that's heavy, you shouldn't be, or some people shouldn't be trying to pick up. So that's what that's showing. Oh, and jump in. If anybody has any ideas, just jump in. And I think this is pretty cool. Someone actually, on a presentation I did, I found a picture of this later, but mentioned that you can have built under your shelves these pull-out. Do you have one?
Mm-mm.
You've seen them?
No, but I recognize what it is.
Yeah, I think I like that. That's a pretty cool idea. And then kick it back in when you don't need it. And then again, I warned you that this stool keeps coming up because it's just so much safer than the usual step stools. And when I'm doing my home evals, I make sure that the person has a place to put it that's out of the way and they're not tripping over it. And this is the microwave story. It's not safe to have, especially above a gas stove, it's not safe to have it up there. And so trying to find space to put it on the countertop. I think I've got a picture of tables later. So let me see if I have the price for that over there. Yeah. So this is showing you an alarm. Anybody guess what that alarm is going to do?
Probably for heat or maybe even fire.
Close, yeah. You're trying to prevent fire.
Right.
So it's motion sensitive, but it's unmotion sensitive. So if it doesn't sense any motion after a certain amount of time, it kicks off the stove. So it can only work with an electric stove, but if you've got someone who has some dementia or someone like me who sometimes forgets, it's great because it'll, now the price on these are like $400 and up, but it's a safety device.
Can you go back to the microwave thing for a
Yeah.
second? So if you have the microwave over the stove and you don't recognize that there's potentially a safety issue there, and you put it on the counter, what do you do with the space over the stove?
I made it into a shelf.
Put a vent in.
You could put a vent
Exhaust
in.
it.
See, mine wasn't over the stove, you're right. Mine was above the countertop. So I put in another shelf.
Okay.
My husband calls me the shelf queen, so. But over the stove, yeah, a vent would be good.
So right now, it has a vent.
Okay.
Out the top, and it goes outside. So if you were to remove that, you would lose the vent.
No.
Well, I don't know. Maybe
You
I
can
don't
have
know.
just a vent put in. They usually.
Like a vent hood?
They come, yeah, like a
Yeah,
vent
vent
hood.
hood, sure.
You know, it comes
Okay.
down like this.
And hang some pot holders.
Okay.
But, I don't know, non-flammable pot holders. But thanks for asking the question, because it's nice to break it up, so please ask questions. All right, so definitely sitting at this level, using a card table or your kitchen table for chopping for a lot of people is the way that they should go. And honestly, I think the last home visit I did, the woman hadn't even thought to do that. You know, I said, why don't you chop at your kitchen table? Oh, that's such a good idea. She would go, what was she doing? Oh, she was taking something out of the living room, some table out of the living room that was lower and chopping. But whatever. So stools come all different sizes and shapes. You definitely want a four-legged stool, and it's nice if the stool has something like this to put your foot on, because that helps your back. That brings in the S shape into your back, and if somebody is standing up for a long time, I mean, you sit down for a while, you put your foot on the rung for a while. It's just better for your back. Give your back some different positions to be in. So the microwave could also go onto that table at the top, but you have to be really careful. You can't go to one of these cheap stores and buy a table that's on wheels. You know, those are just not safe. That one is a good safe one. So it's got to be something, if they sell it to put microwaves on, it should be safe. If you're afraid to sit on it, then I wouldn't be using it. Because sometimes what people do with those too, which is great, is they put on their dinners, and if they don't have a walker, they're going to push their dinner into and that's safe to do if it's a safe table. Of course, the walkers can have a tray that you could use. I put that kitchen table there because if somebody's eating by themselves or even just two people, a small table is good. But some people want a big table because they have company coming. So one with a drop leaf is good. The chair is because especially if you have arthritis, you want to spread out the work over 4 limbs, and that's going to be better on your knees rather than just standing up. So plus it's just, if you've got balance problems, the captain's chair is great. On Home and Val's, I shop throughout the house, and I might move the captain's chair I found in one room into the kitchen. I might move the kitchen chair into the bathroom. You can often find solutions someplace in the house and not have to buy anything. And then there's always yard sales. That came out blurry. This is just to remind you and that I recognize a lot of bathroom. So we went from the kitchen to the bathroom, sorry. Anything for the kitchen that you wanted to talk about? Lighting is important too, but that's, just higher light bulbs is often good. All right, so if you put that equipment, if I was to offer this kind of equipment to many people, they refuse it. It's ugly, it's horrible. In fact, it took me forever, my mom has passed, but it took me forever to get her to get a grab bar into the shower. No one sees her shower, her bathtub, but it took her forever, and I did find a nice one. There are some really nice grab bars, and you've seen them now. It took a while for the companies to get there, but this kind of approach we don't need anymore. I love these safety rails. They're temporary, so I did get my mom to agree to have safety rails because I promised her they're easy to come off. Has anybody used them? They come in 3 pieces, the spine and then the 2 arms. The spine you put on, I usually can't reach you put on through the bolts that hold the toilet seat on. So adding this piece of equipment is just like changing your toilet seat. You just take off those bolts, take off the toilet seat, put in the spine, and put your toilet seats back on. It's really simple. And it costs I think, $30. They're really inexpensive, and they don't look too bad.
We have a question.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to use the toilet paper when that's there?
That's a good question, yeah. That looks, I think the easiest thing to do is to empty like half the toilet paper roll, but not, yeah. So I'll show you. I'll show you what we could do instead.
Okay.
That's not the answer.
Yeah.
This is showing you a commode. There's a commode chair on the left. Those are ugly as well, yes, but those are paid by Medicaid. They will pay for what's called a 3-in-1. They won't pay for a raised toilet seat, but they'll pay for a 3-in-1 commode because it can be used in the bedroom. Medicaid pays for bedroom equipment. They will help you stay alive in your bedroom as if that's the healthiest thing to do. So that can come with a pail without a hole in it, so it could be a bedside commode. It'll also, the same package comes with a pail in it, or just take the pail off and put it over the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
It can also go into the shower, so it gives you a place to sit in the shower. Again, I'm trying to give you really cost-effective types of things. We've got better toilet apparatus that looks nicer. That's called a shower bench, what you're seeing up there over the tub. So here, you could install that other, I thought I had one from the floor. That's what I thought that was for a toilet. But getting back to, and you still see it up there, you see the toilet roll that's kind of behind the arm. I could lie and say I know that there's enough room, but I'm not sure that there is. But it may mean that you need to put in another toilet roll. I have a toilet roll sitting on this cool little stand, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
And then when my brother-in-law, who has autism and some dementia, I take that and I get it out of the way. Otherwise, the toilet roll ends up in the toilet bowl. So these are just some different examples. Top right, I think that's pretty ugly. Hopefully you don't have to use one. I don't know why you would do that instead of just having those safety rails that I showed earlier. All right. Your comfort height toilets on the top left, that's 2 to 4 inches higher. So it means you take out your old toilet, you put this in, or if you were doing your bathroom, you put it in like that. And that's what we did. My husband's 6'2". So this is a good height for him, and I just tolerate it. The one on the right is also an expense. You got a wheelchair, you can have your cabinets rebuilt. Sometimes people can just, if they have cabinets underneath, they can take off the doors and cut out the kick plate. And it would work like that as well. So if you've got somebody who's handy or you pay someone, you can remove those cabinets, and that's not as expensive as redoing the whole thing. Any questions? I think this is kind of cool. It's called a toilevator, like an elevator under a toilet. I forgot how much they cost. They're about $100. To get this, I don't know what your plumber's going to charge, but they're not very expensive anyway, and you can raise the height 3 to 4 inches. And use the same toilet. So, you have this replaced a tub that was there. So it's a whole unit. It's now a shower. I would have preferred to see a seat like on the right, also in here. The grab bars. This is not a good picture, but it's good. Sometimes it's good to show a picture of what's wrong. That grab bar, if I put a seat, I would put the seat on the right, because the controls are on the left. I'd put the seat towards the right, and how would I have that grab bar instead of it being horizontal? At an angle, right. So that when you're sitting down, you can grab it. When you're standing up, it's at your height as well. So, but they don't have a seat there.
If you do a new shower now, they're required to put bars in.
Are they?
Yes.
Good. I'm glad. we just had a new one put in our cottage, and I thought for sure, the carpenter's my age, I thought he'd get one with a grab bar. It doesn't, but it does have a seat, so. And so the one on the right you can see does have a seat. So these cost about $1,000, and I don't think that's too bad. If it's going to increase a whole bunch of
What
goods-
costs $1,000? Not the whole new shower.
Yeah, you can get.
Mine was $11,000.
Well, the physical shower versus the installation.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
This does not include installation. But I was not that long, a couple years ago in one of our, as I said, box stores that sells wood and that kind of stuff. And I found one for $1,100.
That's no installation.
No installation, no. Yeah. Plus installation. All right, just showing you some other grab bars. I don't think these are very beautiful. The ones on the top aren't too bad. And it's not too difficult to put in a grab bar. You find the studs and usually can get it in, or you usually. So I showed you a picture of a bench earlier. What's important is that bench needs a special curtain. Otherwise, if you don't have a curtain, the water drips out onto the floor, and that can increase your fall risk on the floor. So this is showing the outside and the inside using a shower bench shower curtain. It's got the slot, and it tends to work. You can also buy shower benches now that are shaped so that the curtain is supposed to be able to go in between them. But I did talk to a client who was given one of those, and he felt that the curtain was like right on top of him or something. So I still think this is the better way to go. But when you look to buy a shower bench, you can see the difference. Excuse me. All right, here's some more solutions. If you have it's often the case that the toilet is right next to the tub, so that can slide right over, which may make it pretty easy for some people. The next one, the one in the center, it allows you to fill up the tub and you're somewhat under the water. You also can, I also like this approach. You have to make sure this lip over here is long enough, even though this has a brace over there that's pushing the feet out. So there still is pressure, but I don't like to put it on a really thin lip. But that can often be used for the, what do you call it, the clawfoot tubs, as long as the sides are wide enough. And the clawfoots are pretty tall, so when you sit down on that, on a clawfoot, you're not sitting really low. If you put that on a regular low tub, then that's ridiculous. That's not going to help at all. So that's really more a solution for a clawfoot. This is helpful. See, these two are really pretty much the same, although this is padded, that is not. But this clamps onto the tub, so no one's tripping over the feet, the outside feet. I have, when working in rehab, I have ordered like that kind of a bench. Then I go check and make sure everything's put the correct way, and where have I found that bench? Totally inside the tub. Because they just didn't understand how to do it. But that's fine. Let's see what else about here. I think that's about it. This is so this chair comes out and swings this way, so you can easily sit on it and then swing. It will turn. So here are some more expensive solutions, and the one on the left goes for about $100. $100. I'm not sure what the one on the right is. The one on the right is fills up with air, and so the cushion just kind of comes up. But I ordered some woman got one of those on the left through a grant. She sent me a thank you note. She said, I just finished my first bubble bath after so many years. I thank you so very much. It's like, oh, I wish this grant money didn't run out. So that's, some people just so want to take a bath. They want to sit back down into that tub. Again, if you've got children, or know if the person has some children that have some money and can afford to buy that, it's worth the $400. Oh, so the thing on the right, I'll tell you a funny story, not about an ostrich, but about a pelican.
It's a flamingo.
Flamingo, thank you. I need to know it. But the story is about a penguin anyway. All right, one on the right, if you're in apartments, most of the time you may have to put something that's temporary in it. So that's temporary, it's very safe, it can be put on nice and tight. The one on the left is not temporary. This has been a regular tub that got cut out, and you can't see. I think I have another picture. The door is open, so it will close, allowing someone, maybe they can sit on the back and then let themselves down into the tub. Although if they did plan to do that, then this grab bar has to be put further forward. There's a lot of things to think about, and it's one thing I love about being an OT is you get to problem solve and do that kind of thing. Now this is kind of fun. This is showing you 2 bathrooms, same kind of setup, but one is of course a little larger, and you can't get a wheelchair into there. You can't get a wheelchair into there and maneuver around. Probably difficult even with a walker. So what can happen is instead of using a bathtub, and again, I know it's installation and it's expensive, but you put in a shower and you do a circular shower curtain around it so that when the shower is not being used, so it's a roll-in shower with a drop drain, drains out. When the shower is not being used, then you've got all that space to move around it. The tub is no longer in that area, but someone can certainly take a shower in there. So that's what that's showing. In other words, don't give up. If it looks like it's not going to work, get some professional help too, if you can't problem solve. And that's a major work, is switching a tub to a shower with a drop drain. Okay, living spaces. Starting in the bedroom. The one on the left is just, reaching down to get shoes and slippers and things is often dangerous. You can certainly use reachers, but it's kind of tedious. Just hang something on the door. Again, I kind of mentioned my husband calls me the shelf queen, so it's like I use every inside door has something on it in my house, even all the cabinets. So that gives you a lot of space for shoes and slippers or sweaters and shirts, and it can be anything there. Take them out of the bottom drawers, take them off the bottom of the closet or top of the closet, and fill up your door where it can be easily reached. The middle chair is just showing, it reminds me, sitting on a bed. If you've got some balance problems and you're trying to put on socks and shoes, it's pretty dangerous. And you're not the tallest person, right?
Not at all.
And if your bed is kind of tall, you're off balance. So a chair like that is very helpful.
I have a chair.
Good. And it really can prevent somebody from toppling over. Then the top right, that thing also only costs about $30, $35. It slips in, it's got these extended bars under her butt. It slips in between the mattress and the box spring. can come with or without the pockets. Pockets can be handy. And it helps you to lie down, to sit up, to stand up, and to sit down. It's a really good, inexpensive device. I recommend it to almost every home evaluation I go on. Inexpensive, easy to put in place. And this is just showing some other, you can buy those, I don't know what you call it, the closet magic, whatever, and turn the closet into something where it's more manageable. Into the living room. So the stars are just mentioning how important light is. I think I have another slide for that too. Bright lights are great. You can get remote controls to turn them on. Motion sensors are really excellent. Coming down to the right, you can get rug anchors. They're really good to have in the corners, and you might want to put, even if the corner isn't coming up, it's not a bad idea to put them in the corners before it starts coming up. So it will keep the corners down. So as people kick them, they won't come up at all. You can also line the whole rugs with it, that kind of a thing. Bottom left star is showing cords. You can get covers to go over the cords. If they, this rug is just in a situation where you really can't get it under the rug. So you could, or that could have come up. I might have recommended that it come up to this end and then go under there with some little tie downs under the rug to keep the cord, so you wouldn't have that much of a, in fact, someone might trip over that covering, right, as they go over there. So if you brought it under the table this way, snuck it under the rug, it'd even be safer. And then the star by the bookcase, that's to remind me to tell you, all bookcases like that should be bolted into your 2x4s, into your studs. I mentioned my brother-in-law already. In our kitchen, we have this, I tell you, the house we live in now is not set up well. Again, I can't change it. It's got a lip in the middle of not the middle of the floor, but to the left of the stove. Okay, so there's a lip here. But if I'm to walk around this way and then go through this part of the kitchen and come over here, it's an old house, right? So that the floor is so uneven that over here there's a 1.5 inch difference, but there's no, and so I can't take it out. But anyway, so he trips over it. I've got a bookcase like that with flour and all that stuff in there here, and he grabs that.
Oh.
And luckily I was there because I could catch him and catch the bookcase. It is now bolted, like it was bolted the next day. So that's, do some of these things before that happens. And you want to make your house, people would like to have their houses visitor friendly. Chris doesn't live with us, so he is a visitor, and I want him to be safe when he's there. So
I had a question about the
Yeah.
cords. I didn't think it was safe to put cords under rugs. What's showing in that picture is the cord is on top of the rug with
Yeah.
a cover, which may be a little bit challenging, but putting electrical cords underneath rugs
you're probably right.
is not
Forget
really
I said that.
safe.
You're probably right, but that's what I do. But yeah, you're probably right. I should look that up. Thank you. I mean,
Because if there's any kind of, if the cord is old,
right.
it could
Yeah.
really start a fire.
And you could, and you're going to wear it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you. So that is probably why they're showing that here. All right, another thing easy to do is to bring furniture up. So sometimes furniture is pretty low. My mom's favorite couch got too low for her. So I know she would never have agreed to the top left ones because they're pretty ugly looking, but they're really cheap.
It don't look safe though.
Yeah, it doesn't look safe, but they are. Yeah. But I got her ones that look like the ones on in the middle bottom. and she let me put them in. No, but these, and they come in different heights. So this might even be half that size. And you can get them in different heights. So if, try out a shorter height and see what you feel. There's all sorts of other devices too. And this you can also get of course most people have electrical ones now, but if you don't, you can get extended handles for your chairs. And your chairs that you can get now they're pretty unbelievable how they can help. Lifting you up, lifting you down. Treads on your stairs is good. Adding a railing so you have two handles when possible is good. Enough space, especially if you've got walkers, if that's possible. Or keeping the hallways clear of stuff. I think AARP puts on a declutter kind of thing, and decluttering is such an important thing to do for safety in the home. Chair glides, they cost like $2,000 and up, but they do help people a great deal. Someone with a chair glide may not have to move out of their home. And this grant that I worked on, we got people, different people, some chair glides. It was great. It's so nice to say, you don't even have to pay for this. Again, I already said that, but think of natural light too. Natural light is free. Okay, and the last thing is just fall sensors, or those devices that. So my mom had one of those, and when she fell, basically her last time at home, she ended up in the hospital. She didn't have it on her, so she had to crawl, and she had a fractured hip and a head injury. She had to crawl to the phone to call my neighbor. When my neighbor came over, she said, "Give me that. I need to put it on so Joni doesn't find out I didn't have it on." Of course, my neighbor told me, but oh man, they're very helpful. They really are. And there are some that I bought one too, because I go for walks in woods by myself. And I can press a button and it immediately calls 911.
That's what I have.
Do you have that?
Yep, I have it on my head.
Mm-hmm. And do you pay monthly or you just bought the whole thing?
What's that?
Do you pay monthly?
No.
No.
My daughter bought it for me, so my daughter has a bill.
You can get
a lifeline.
Yeah, you can get a device that you don't pay monthly.
Yeah.
It's like $150, and that's what I got.
I think she's paying for it. I'm not.
Yeah.
But I have it.
Yep. But that is possible. You can get one.
She gave it to me as I got older because she was afraid that if I go for a walk outside, I had
Yep.
to carry it with me if I go outside to play.
Right.
Well, I don't play outside, but when I do.
Well, you should.
Well, I do yard work is what I do. I have to wear it every time I go when I'm playing yard, when I'm outside, or if I'm taking a walk.
Yeah, good.
But they do come in handy.
Good. All right, and I think that's it. So, anybody have anything in mind they might do for themselves or buy for a gift for anyone?
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of things that we've done in our home. We have a lot of those things like pull-out drawers and
The grab bars?
the bars. Yeah. So I guess maybe we were thinking ahead and we didn't know it.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea to have them.
Yeah.
For sure. Yep. Okay, what's one thing that somebody saw that they kind of liked?
Well, I like the, I forget what it's called now, to watch TV. I have a button, I can go backward, and I can.
Oh, the chair.
Oh, the chairs, oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Those chairs are great, yep. Those are good, good. Who else saw something that they like?
I might get one of my friends, one of those blow up, press the button and it blows up in the
the tub?
bathtub, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and then your friend can take a bath.
Yeah.
He or she missing that.
Get out of here. She doesn't have a bathtub, just so you know.
Okay. I'll have to get her a chair then. No, I think those things are important, and you don't think of them sometimes, so that's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
What's the minimum width on a doorway for a standard wheelchair or a walker?
Shoot. I want to say 32 inches.
Well, I was gonna say 36.
Do they make narrower, you know?
They make narrow walkers and narrow
walkers and
wheelchairs.
yeah.
Yep.
Because I don't think any of our door openings are wide enough
Uh-huh.
for a standard sized wheelchair if necessary.
But yeah, there's narrow, both narrow wheelchairs and narrow walkers.
Then you'll have to carry me.
Yeah, I know.
I like the idea of the swing hinges, because I think that's something that people could implement and then put back if they were selling or moving. They could just put the regular hinges back, but it gives them a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or they might want to just keep that hinge on.
yeah.
I mean, the one I showed is kind of pretty.
Yeah.
Anything else? Well, I hope you learned something.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. I love doing this. Okay.